What if the man who stood on stage every Sunday, leading your congregation in worship, was hiding something unimaginable behind closed doors? That's exactly the question tearing through Tip City, Ohio right now, and the answers are more shocking than anyone could have prepared for. Tip City is the kind of small, tight-knit community where everyone knows everyone, where a local teacher is also your kid's volleyball coach, where your worship pastor is also the guy who made it onto American Idol. And that's exactly who Caleb Carl Flynn was to this community. In 2013, a young, charismatic Caleb Flynn showed up on season 12 of American Idol, golden ticket in hand, his wife Ashley beaming proudly at his side. During a hometown interview, he gushed about how beautiful she was.
Promise you, if my wife dyed her hair blonde, she would look just like her. I'm the next American Idol.
It was the picture of a devoted husband, a man of faith, a man with everything going for him. At the time, Caleb was serving as a worship arts pastor at Living Word Church in Tip City. He'd met Ashley at Lee University in Tennessee, followed her back to Ohio after she graduated early, and built his life around her and their faith community. He later went on to serve as worship leader at Christian Life Center in Butler Township. From the outside, this family looked perfect. Fast forward to February 16th, 2025. At 2:31 in the morning, Caleb Flynn dials 911. He's frantic. He says an intruder has broken into their home on Cunningham Court. He says there's an open garage door. And then, the words no one ever wants to hear, he says his wife has been shot in the head. Here's where it gets strange almost immediately. During that same call, Caleb first tells the dispatcher that he and his daughter were locked in a bedroom together. Then he corrects himself, saying actually their two daughters were asleep in their own separate rooms. A small slip. But investigators noticed. First responders arrived to find 37-year-old Ashley Flynn with 2 fatal gunshot wounds. She was pronounced dead at the scene. The children were physically unharmed, and the investigation began. For days, this looked like a home invasion gone tragically wrong. A grieving husband, a community in shock, 2 little girls without their mother. But detectives from Tip City PD, the Miami County Sheriff's Office, the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation, and the FBI worked around the clock. And what they found was devastating in an entirely different way. On February 19th, just 3 days after Ashley's death, Caleb Flynn was arrested and booked into Miami County Jail at 5:07 p.m. The charges? 1 count of murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, and 2 counts of tampering with evidence. That last charge is the one that tells you everything. Investigators found probable cause that the so-called home invasion, the open garage door, the story about an intruder, was staged. The break-in never happened. There was no intruder. The man who called 911 in a panic is now the man charged with pulling the trigger. Before we go any further, let's talk about Ashley, because she deserves to be more than just a name in a headline. Ashley Flynn was a 7th grade volleyball coach at Tippecanoe Middle School. She was a substitute teacher. She served as an educator at LifeWise Academy. By every account, she was warm, devoted, and genuinely beloved by students, parents, and colleagues alike. The community's response has been overwhelming. Over $80,000 raised through an online fundraiser. Memorial ribbons are tied around downtown Tip City. Local businesses are donating profits in her honor. A celebration of life for Ashley Flynn is scheduled for Sunday, February 22nd at 4 p.m. at the Christian Life Center, a church where Caleb himself once served on staff. Think about that for a moment. And speaking of the church community, both congregations where Caleb served have released statements. And I have to say, reading these hit differently knowing what we now know. The Christian Life Center, the very church where Ashley's celebration of life will be held, posted this message to their community. This morning, many in our church community woke up to devastating and senseless news. A beloved member of our church, devoted servant of Jesus, and wife, mom, daughter, was murdered in her home. Ashley Flynn is with Jesus. They closed with Psalm 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed. And then there's Living Word Church, where Caleb served as worship pastor for years. Pastor Joel wrote to his congregation, She was one of the kindest souls to ever grace this planet, and it's hard to comprehend that her life has been taken away from us. He asked his congregation to pray for the family. Anand leaned on Philippians 4:6-7, the passage about bringing everything to God in prayer and receiving a peace that transcends understanding. Now, notice something in that living word statement. Pastor Joel refers to Ashley's family as the Smiths. That appears to be a reference to Ashley's family of origin, her maiden name, which tells you these weren't just church acquaintances. Ashley's roots ran deep in this community, long before she ever became Ashley Flynn. Both statements are gracious. Both are pastoral. Neither one mentions Caleb by name in connection to the charges. And honestly, that probably says everything. Now, let's talk about the layer of this story that has people absolutely floored online. Speculation has been swirling, and I want to be careful here, because nothing has been officially confirmed. But reports are circulating that Caleb may have been involved with another woman, a fellow worship leader, no less, and that this alleged relationship could be at the center of the motive investigators are building. I want to be crystal clear. Caleb Flynn is a suspect. He is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. We do not convict people in the comment section, and we won't hear either. But if the speculation holds any truth, think about what that means. A man who stood at the front of a church every Sunday, leading worship, singing about grace and faith and love, allegedly living a secret life that may have cost his wife everything. That's not just a crime story. That's a tragedy wrapped inside a betrayal. A woman allegedly unalived by the man who vowed before God to love and protect her, possibly to clear the way for someone else. Tip City is a community in mourning. 2 little girls are growing up without their mother. And a man who once stood on a stage leading others in worship now sits in a jail cell facing a murder charge. The investigation is ongoing. More details will emerge as this case moves through the courts. But right now, what this community needs, what Ashley's daughters need, is justice, healing, and truth. If this case is one you're following, drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated as this story develops, make sure you're subscribed. Ashley Flynn deserved better, and her story deserves to be told. Please note, Caleb Flynn is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. All information presented is based on publicly available reports and official statements at the time of this script.